Hello there, carpologists. I'm Joe, and you join myself and Luke on the banks of 𝗙𝗿𝗄 Farm Fishery today on Long Lake, where we thought we'd have a bit of fun on one of the runs for us. And it's kicked off to a flying start because I haven't even done an intro yet, and my first rod that I cast out less than an hour ago has already gone off with this 22 pound 8 ounce 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗆 carp. Freezing cold, so always very welcome in these weather conditions. We're using solid bags on this session. We'll go much more in depth on all the systems we're using, but for now I want to put this one back and see if we can rack up that tally, because I know it did a lot of fish on the weekend, so hopefully we can get in on the act as well. But brilliant start, hopefully it continues. Well, we still haven't done an intro because the rods just keep going off and I can't seem to keep up with the making the bag, so I think once there's a little lull in the action, I'm going to make up loads just so I can just hit it hard and just keep getting the rods back out. But 3 bites in 20 minutes, I lost one a second ago, and this will be bite number 3 if I can get it in. Luke's drawn the short straw in filming me setting up first. He ain't got a rod out yet, and I'm already on my 3rd bite. And that's one on pink, one on white, so there we go. It's going to be a manic session. I don't think we're going to be fishing the nights. And that makes it rather unfair 2-0 to me.
Yeah, very unfair. I've only just got my rods out, even though we've been here, what, 2 or 3 hours now, because Joe's been keeping me busy filming him, filming his fish, filming playing fish, all sorts. So yeah, finally got mine out, so I'm hoping for a bite. Kind of need a bite after what I've said to you yesterday.
Yes, you said that if we blank on this session, we're giving up our jobs, because it's happened quite a lot lately. So my job is now safe, but
yeah, yours is more than safe. That's why you wanted the rods out first, isn't it? But fingers crossed, we've got loads of time, and they're obviously up for a bit of a feed, aren't they?
Plenty more of these. And being quick, getting the rods back out, using the solid bags, getting them accurate on the money. They seem to be shoal fishing here, because of previous experiences as well. You seem to get bites in sort of quick succession. So getting them back out, getting a few bites seems to be the key. Yeah. So stick this one back and carry on the session. Hopefully have lots more.
Fingers crossed.
Well, right on cue, the rain has just started to come in. It's forecast from about 2 o'clock solid and through to the early hours. So I want to make sure that the rods are set up absolutely perfect. I'm pretty confident that we're going to get some bites during the rain, but I had a pretty savage liner slash I think I got done on the right hand rods just to make sure that is perfect. I'm going to redo that one before it really starts to set in. Now the system I'm using, as I've already mentioned, is solid bags, but it's extremely quick and easy, and that's what you want from a solid bag. So I've been tying some up while I've been sat here waiting for the rods to go off. So all I've got to do is whip that in, take the setup that I've got on at the moment off, and loop this one back on, just using a simple loop to loop. But I can talk about that until the cows come over. I'm going to bring it in and actually show you it first and how quick and simple this setup is. Yep, as I thought, I've been done because the lead has been pulled out of the swivel. So obviously something picked that up, managed to get away with it. It is a barbless rule on here, so these things can happen. But a good job I did bring it in, because I didn't know for definite until I wound in. But there is the setup that I've just had out there. Now to take it off, I've just got a simple loop to loop. So it's got to loosen off this loop, like so. Put the rig back through that loop, and that one is now off. So ready for me to tie back up into a solid bag. I'm going to pick up one of my pre-made ones, loop back through the loop on the system, solid bag back through the loop, and there we are, ready to go back out as quick as that. I'm going to ping this one out and then talk through a bit more in depth how this system works. So now that rod is absolutely bob on, I'm very confident that's going to go off. And the rain's starting to get heavier, which is why I'm glad I'm sat here and Luke's the one stood behind the camera. But talking a little bit more about this system. Now these are new Gemini Tidy Stems. Now, any of you that have heard of Gemini before, you know they brought out the tidy booms, the different lead systems and things, and for everyone that's used them, are very highly acclaimed. So this is a new system that they've brought out to make solid bag fishing neater, very safe, and just quick and easy to use. So as you can see, I've just got my rig. Ignore that, that can be whatever rig you fancy, but I have just got supple braid, and that just goes inside the bag. It's got a swivel that is attached to a fused 45 pound leader that tucks inside your inline lead. Now if I take the lead off, Doesn't matter what lead you use, they do two different sizes, a 5mm diameter internals and a 5.75mm internals. So doesn't matter what sort of inline lead you got, they've got a system which will fit snugly in that. So I think I've actually got two different types of leads with me today. Some of them were the 5mm diameter, other ones were the 5.75. So you just take out the insert from your normal lead, and this replaces that insert. And as I said, inside this insert is a 45-pound fused fluorocarbon leader with a loop on the end, which I've just pulled inside of the tubing at the moment. Pull that back out, and then all you do is loop to loop that onto your main line. So you tie up your solid bags as you normally would, like so, and that one's just ready to get looped straight on. So instead of having loads of different leaders tied up and wrapping the leader around that, if you want to fish a naked system with this on the end, you just got to tie up loads of these. They tuck in your bag perfectly. Last night, and unfortunately for my missus, I was sat there all night tying up loads of these bags ready for a quick start today, and that paid off because within 20 minutes of having the rods out, I had a low 20, so you cannot complain. Luke's using a slightly different system, which we'll probably get onto tomorrow when the rain stops, but for now I'm going to keep the rods getting repositioned every hour or so if I've not had a bite and expect to have had one, and we should keep nicking the bites.
So there we go, Joe is well and truly smashing me at the moment with I think 6 fish to 1, but I'm off the mark and I don't have to resign. So more than happy. Like Joe said previously, I'm using a slightly different same tactic but a slightly different way of using it, in the fact that I'm actually using tubing with the Tidy Stems from Gemini. So we'll talk a bit more about that when it's a little bit drier. But let's get this one back. Well happy to be off the mark. Might not be the best looking, but it is a fish. So yep. Let's get her back.
And here is fish number 7. Just before it starts to get dark, night's drawn in probably about just after 6 o'clock and we're nearly there. So 7 fish in a day. I've got the rods back out. I spent the last hour or so sat in the sheltering from the rain, tying up loads of bags. I've got about 8 bags tied up ready. I just pinged out all 3, so once they go off, or hopefully they'll go off before I go to bed, and I think I won't recast till the morning. It's going to be a pretty miserable night. So get a good night's sleep and then crack on again in the morning. But yeah, very happy. That's 7-1 to me, Luke. Let's slip it back.
So you've just seen obviously Joe slipping back his 7th of the day, which that's pretty good going, 7 fish in a day. I'm a bit of a slow burner. No, you always say that, I can't say that. I'm taking it a bit slower, a bit more of a chilled out approach, and obviously just had my second one. A little bit bigger than the first one and definitely a lot better looking as well. Perfect linear, well, scattered linear, but perfect condition. What a lovely fish. So get this one back. I'm going to put the rods back out, so I've got all 3 out. I'm going to do the same as Joe. Joe's got a screamer. So yeah, going to have all 3 rods out, and then as each one goes overnight, if and when they do, won't be putting them back out till first light. So make that 8 for Joe. He's got to land it still. But yeah, let's get this one back and go and see what Joe's doing at the moment.
Morning everyone. It was a pretty wet and miserable night, so I was quite glad that I brought the rods in and got a decent amount of sleep. And surprisingly, Luke is still in bed, door still zipped down, and I say surprisingly because he's currently 8-2 down. I expected him to be up well before me trying to claw a few back, but he's not. It's now 6:15, so it's starting to get light, and as I said yesterday, I prepared loads of bags. So I've got 8 bags in here at the moment. I've got 4 with white hook baits and 4 with pink hook baits. I wanted to see which one did better yesterday. Didn't see any difference whatsoever, so I don't think it really matters. The main thing is that I've got a bright visual hook bait right at the top end of one of the bags and the lead is the other side. Now if you want to see how I've loaded these bags, I'm not going to talk you through exactly how I've done it today, because I recently did a video with 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗄 where he showed how he ties his solid bags. That's exactly what I've done. Lead one side, hook bait the other, so that when that lands on the bottom, it always lands that one way. Hook bait is the first thing that the fish will see, so it comes down, mouthful of bait, that hook bait flies in, and that's what's doing me the bites. So I'm going to quickly wrap these up, ping them out, and I'm sure I'll have a few fish, hopefully, before Luke is even out of bed. There is a Luke. Well, Luke didn't read the script of what I just said this morning, and he's corrected me. It's 8.3. This to be 8.4. So I don't know why I bothered getting up early.
Right place, Joe. Got to be in the right place.
Well, I feel like today's going to be another game of leapfrog between me and Luke. Every time he's trying to catch me up, I'm going to peg him back once more. He's just landed his 4th, so the first one of the morning. My middle hand rod, which is over to the island, has gone off. It's actually my first ever catfish, so I'm going to get that one out in a second. And then as we just netted that one, the left hand rod went off with a little, I'd say, 8-pound mirror, so I'm just going to slip that one back. But because it's so quick and easy, as I keep saying, I'm just going to unloop this rig in a second and ping it back out, and then we'll film the catfish. So I'm going to slip this one back. Hopefully the day continues as it started. Well, excuse the rather novice handling of this, but it's my first ever catfish. Not exactly what we were expecting, but as soon as I hooked it, I knew it wasn't a carp. It just held its ground, and I know there's no carp that big in here, and it took some pretty blistering runs. So yeah, when this popped up, I wasn't surprised, and it's very awkward to hold, as you can see. But 19-pound, first ever catfish. Can't say I'm ever going to go on a dedicated catfishing trip, but very welcome, something unique. Try and get a photo, and then slip this little slimy, very slippery catfish back. But testament to the strength of the tidy stems. This put up a big scrap, didn't cut through anything, and held nice and strong. Bizarre little thing.
So for more videos like this, obviously make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So it's been a little bit of a manic morning. Me and Joe
I've got your wriggly one here.
Yeah, I've got the wriggly one. Me and Joe made a little bit of a pact last night that because it was so prolific during the day, we were going to reel in. Weather was awful all of last night as well. So we both got up early, Joe earlier than me. But by 6:30, I had all 3 rods out. By 6:35, the common went off. I literally cast it straight back out, unhooked the common in the net, cast it straight back out, and again within about 5 minutes the same rod had gone. So it just shows how important it is that you can obviously change the bags over quickly, get them straight back out there, because they're very much shoal fish here. You've had a bit of action as well, haven't you?
I have. It's been pretty manic. I've just got all 3 back out because I had a catfish, a carp, lost a carp, got them back out, just caught another one. So it's been pretty manic. We'll go through all my fish in a second, but yeah, just reiterating what Luke said, getting the rods back out. They're very much shoal fish in here, so when they're out there, getting the rods back out instantly is key to getting quick bites like this. So that's now 11.5?
11.5 at the moment, yeah.
And a catfish. So
and a catfish. Let's get these ones back, we'll have a look at your fish, and then we'll go through my system that I'm using.
Here is the last bite of that flurry, 17.10, so the biggest common of the trip for me. Luke's away, so I'll have to slip this one back and go film that one. It is absolutely manic today. Solid bags, clearly the way forward. Happy days.
So this is a little common that interrupted Joe's filming. Sorry about that, Joe. But that makes it 11.6, I believe. Yeah, 11.6. So I've still got a little way to catch up, but I'm going to get this one back. This seems to be about the average stamp in here, so kind of low to scraper doubles. There has been a few slightly bigger, and obviously Joe hit it quite well when he first turned up with that, was it 22.5 or around that. So yeah, get this one back, and I promise you I will actually talk through what I'm doing. But it's been pretty chaotic this morning, so we haven't quite had a chance yet. So yeah, let's get this one back. Okay, so as you've already seen, this morning has been pretty manic. There's been fish everywhere, and we just haven't had a chance to do anything really, apart from catch fish, which isn't always a bad thing, but when we're trying to show you how to do things, it's not ideal. So I've only got one rod left in the water, got 2 rods sitting out, so I'm going to take this time to actually show you how to use the setup that I'm using. Like I say, it's very similar to Joe's, but it allows you to actually use tubing. So really handy on obviously tubing only waters to be able to use solid bags and have the quick changeability as well. So I'm using, like I say, the little tubing kit, and within the kit you get all sorts of things. You get 6 tidy stems, you get 2 meters of tungsten tubing, and a couple of little bits to help you put it all together as well, along with some sleeves which simply slip over the tidy stems themselves. So if I put that line under there so it doesn't go anywhere. Right, basically you want to cut your length of tubing to whatever you want to use. So I normally use a couple of foot, and then at the end you just want to cut about a 45-degree angle, so you've got a nice little angle like that on the end of the tubing. And then this is where this handy little metal rod comes in. So you want to slide this in about 1.5 inches, just so it makes everything nice and solid. So as you can see, tubing is nice and solid with the bar in there. So you want to moisten it a little bit, which helps to make it easier for this next stage, which is simply a case of sliding on, wherever I've put it, one of the little sleeves. So the sleeve is very slightly tapered, so it thins down one end, and that's the end that you want to put onto the tubing. So if you slide on the sleeve onto the tubing, onto the metal rod, sorry, and then it's simply a case of just sliding it very gently about 1 centimetre into the tubing. So once you've done that, you will see there's a little notch just on the sleeve, so you want to slide the tubing up to that notch. When it's in place, it's simply a case of taking out the metal rod, and then you've got your sleeve all sorted on your tubing. It's simply a case now of threading the tubing as you would normally when you're setting your rod up. Let's put that through there. Okay, so once you've threaded the tubing on, it is a case of attaching the stems. Now, the stems look a little bit like that. They're very similar again to what Joe's using, but they do have a slightly bigger loop on them, and this allows the sleeve to go over and actually hold in place. So these can be used with obviously a variety of leads, but there are 2 size stems available. You can get them in 5mm and 5.75mm. So depending on obviously the bore of your lead, you want to use the appropriate stem. So the ones I'm using, the 5mm ones, and they fit these leads perfectly. Simply a case of threading that through, like so, and then just pulling it into the little notch at the bottom so it holds place. Tying it on, nice and simple, so it's just a case of using a Palomar knot, and this is what makes it nice and easy when you're changing each bag as well after a fish, or if you're recasting. It's simply a case of cutting the Palomar knot and then tying on the solid bag. So like I say, just tie that on, nice and simple. Obviously cut off the excess wherever my scissors have gone, there they are. Cut that off, and then you can feed the tubing back down. So this, you'll see the sleeve will simply just pull over the eye, and then there is your nice neat little setup, which is nice and easy to then obviously rebait with. So when it comes to recasting, it's simply a case of just taking the sleeve off, cutting the line, tying on a new one. So I've actually got a bag made up here to show you how simple it is. Cut that off, move the tubing down a little bit, and then obviously you can get your bags all ready as well, so you can have loads made up. So if it is a bit of a fish field session and you've got to shoulder fish that have come onto you, then you can maximise your chances. So there you go, a little Palomar knot, just feed that bag back through there, tighten that down, cut off the excess, and then like I say, you can just pull the tubing back over the eye, and it is nice and neat and ready to go. So I'm going to get this one back out there. At least I've got 2 out of 3 rods out, and hopefully we'll have a few more fish.
Well, I was just thinking I should have had a bite. It's been about an hour of nothing in my swim. Right hand rod's just ticked away with probably about £8 mirror, so just gonna, I've already unhooked it, slip it back, because I've hooked another one. So in the space of 5 minutes, gone from thinking what's going on, where's all the fish, to having 2 bites very quickly. But I've used that time where I wasn't catching anything wisely, and I've knocked up 5 bags ready to go. So as soon as I get this one in, I can fire them straight back out nice and easily. Here it comes. 12 and 13 caught in quick succession. Luke's also in now. Well, it's been absolutely manic 5-10 minutes for myself and Luke. I've had 2 takes, he's had 2 takes. Unfortunately lost one, so it means the tally's now at 13.8. So we're gonna get both those out in a second and show you. But just before I ping these back out, I'll show you how fish safe these are. I've noticed quite a few times when I've brought the fish in, the lead has slid up the line. That's because obviously I'm using the correct stem, excuse the wind, I'm using the correct stem for the bore of the lead. Make sure you get the one that fits perfectly. So that's snug enough fit to have a bolt effect. But it's easy enough if the fish shakes its head or it gets caught in some kind of weed, that slides on up. And obviously I'm using a loop to loop, slide straight over that loop, no problem. Again, the stem itself comes free from the swivel, so you've then just got the leader. So if you were to snap off, it can get rid of so much of that, and it's going to be dragging around barely anything, and it will eventually get rid of that rig. It's not going to be lugging around a load of equipment behind it. So that just slides back down. So if it does all come apart, that's now back over the swivel, lead back down, back onto the sleeve, and good to go. So this one needs to be taken off the loop. I can put another one on, ping them back out, and then we're going to get our fish out to show you. If you like this sort of content and all the reviews and things, make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell button so you don't ever miss a video, and follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, where there's daily content. Let's get this rod back out.
There we go, the chaos is continuing. We've
told you, you get yours up and then mine will go wobbly. That sounded a bit wrong. Let's try that again.
So there you go, the chaos is continuing again. I think we're up to, what is it, 14.9 now?
I'm on 14 and a cat.
14 and a cat, yeah, and I'm on 9. I've got another one in the net as well, but it's just going crazy.
Yeah, it may not be the slickest of videos, but it's impossible to get as many scenic shots and B-roll when it's just non-stop action. Yeah. And proof's in the pudding, really. Solid bags doing the business. Yeah. These tidy stems are just piece of piss to use, to be honest. If,
both systems are working, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whether you want to use tubing or just straight naked solid bags.
And it's become a bit of a competition now of who can catch the most.
Yeah, I mean this is a nicer fish than that one anyway. So
I had a 20 though.
It's not all about numbers. Let's forget about. No, let's stop.
Well, it's been quiet for about 20 minutes, which for this session is very, very slow. So I'm going to recast the left one. This one's been out the longest and not done anything. So I'm going to bring that one in and redo it. But just to show you how quick this is, I'm going to time it from picking it up and winding it in, putting a new bag on and putting it back out. Starting from now. There. We are now fishing again. 1 minute, 20 seconds. There we go. One of the prettier ones of my session, not massive, but number 15 for me. And just shows that recasting rod, fresh bit of bait, getting a bit of activity in the swim, because I was sure I should have had a bite, has resulted in another bite. This one's a little bit wriggly. Let's get it back. And that is number 16. The rods are still out, but I'm completely out of solid bags now. And I feel like I've had enough fish anyway. I'm not too fussed about running out of kit. It's always a good problem to have, and I'm afraid gave you a bit of a thumping.
Yeah, 16.9 it's ended up. Still got 3 rods out, but obviously I'm not gonna catch you up on that because we're not gonna be putting them back out after this. But I mean, both of us have had a lot of fish. We're using very similar but slightly different methods, and yeah, definitely working for us both, aren't they?
And I think we're very converted to solid bags. Neither of us have really done a lot of it before, but really easy, and proof's in the pudding. I mean, we've had a blinding session in March and only fishing the daytime. The rain's starting to come in. I think both our heads are gone because of this mud.
Yeah, it's not been the easiest of sessions. Obviously using solid bags in rain, not ideal, but because they've been so quick to change, it's been pretty straightforward really, hasn't it? So
lovely fish to finish on. Yeah. So for more information, head over to the Gemini website. They got obviously the tidy stems in the 5mm and 5.75mm. That's what I've been using. Yeah. And you've got the same obviously, but with the tubing kits, same sizes, and they got refill kits as well. So
yeah, loads to choose from. So
by the time this video goes out, all of those products will be available. So get on them. It's good fun.
Cool.
I'm
Obviously, for
getting
more,
wet and I'm miserable. So
you're always
what
miserable.
were you going to say?
For more videos like this, obviously make sure you check out the CARPology Facebook page, YouTube channel, things like that. So make sure you subscribe and whatever. So yeah, probably get this one back, get packed up. I'm sure there will be a few more before we go, but
That's happy days.
yeah. Thanks for watching.